for all of these haters of the conservative movement in this country and the person that we have elected to represent us, I'd like to ask you a question this morning.
Hold on, I'm coming. Yes? What's your question?
If you're really an American, truly believe in America and what America stands for, you should be supporting an executive order that President Trump signed halting all foreign aid.
Is that what he did? Because I don't think that's what he did. Let's check what he did. Let's see. Let's see what he did. President Trump on Monday signed an executive order suspending any new U.S. foreign development assistance. He suspended new foreign development assistance. And let's check to see if the suspension was indefinite. No, it was for 90 days pending reviews. And if those reviews don't take as long as 90 days or a decision is made before those 90 days, then it can resume. But there's a little ambiguity as to what this is going to affect in the first place because it was not immediately clear how much assistance would initially be affected by the Monday order, as funding for many programs has already been appropriated by Congress and is obligated to be spent, if not already spent. You see, Congress controls the purse, not the president. The president can't send or stop money from being sent anywhere. Can't do it. It's in the Constitution. So let's not be throwing accusations about who's a real American and who's not when you yourself don't even know what the Constitution says or what the executive order that the president you voted for says. So what else you got?
Until the Americans who are in strife, North Carolina, people in Texas, people in California, all of those people in the United States, Americans who have had natural disasters and catastrophes from last year, who still are without homes, without water, their kids are freezing.
I agree. Those Americans should come first and they need help. Let's see if and where the help is coming from. Let's start with North Carolina since you brought it up. State officials say Hurricane Helene, state officials, the ones that are on the ground that experienced, that lived through this devastation, was by far the most damaging storm in North Carolina history, doing $53 billion worth of destruction. Yikes. My heart goes out to the people of North Carolina and all the states affected by Hurricane Helene. It was devastating. So let's see what the Republican-led state legislature is doing for North Carolina. So far, the state legislature has approved $877 million in relief aid, equal to about 1.6% of the total estimated damage. Well, that doesn't seem like it's quite enough, does it? So Hurricane Helene was last year, as you said, under President Biden. So let's see what President Biden wanted to do. Democratic President Joe Biden recently requested $100 billion in new funding for disaster recovery in North Carolina and other states hit by Helene or other large storms in recent months. Joe Biden wanted to give them $100 billion, but do you notice the wording in this article? It says Democratic President Joe Biden recently requested $100 billion. You know why? Because he can't send or stop money from being sent anywhere. Congress controls the money. He had to request that $100 billion from Congress. And did Speaker of the House Mike Johnson put the Congress back into session to approve that new funding? No. No, he said we'll take it up when we come back from recess. Now, you also talk about California, how they deserve disaster relief, and I thank you as a Southern California resident. Thank you. I agree with you. The Republican leadership in Congress does not. However, Republican leaders push for conditions on disaster relief for California wildfire. See, that's Mike Johnson. That's what he believes. He thinks that there should be strings attached as to whether or not the federal government gives federal aid in disaster relief to California. Funny how I don't see Joe Biden saying, well, we'll give money to Hurricane Helene victims as long as they do X, Y, and Z. There shouldn't be conditions attached to federal disaster relief. End of story.
You should support the decision that he made today and support the fact that he has suspended all aid everywhere else until Americans are taken care of.
Yes, once again, we prove that's not what the order says, that's not what the order does, and that is not something he can do.
That's what he promised. That's why he was elected. Because 80% of the American public we're sick of taking care of everybody else instead of taking care of those at home.
You seem to imply there that 80% of Americans voted for Donald Trump. It's not true. Not even close to being true. He didn't even get 50% of the vote. He won the popular vote, but he did not get a majority of the vote. He's in the 49th percent of the popular vote, which means the majority of Americans who actually voted in this election voted for somebody other than Donald Trump. Most people who voted cast their votes for somebody else. That's just math.
Taking care of those people here at home that need help. If you don't support that, then I hate to tell you this, but you're not an American.
Well, if you believe that to be true, then I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your Republican leaders in Congress are not true Americans. Because if they were, you could point me to the direction of the bill that helped homeless veterans. You could point me in the direction of a bill that Republicans wanted to pass that would raise the minimum wage so that people could feed their families. You would point me in the direction of the bill that Republicans wanted to pass that would guarantee a certain amount of income for people with children so that no child would go hungry in this country. You could point me in the direction of a bill that the Republicans sponsored that ensured health care for every American citizen, because no American citizen should go into debt and declare bankruptcy because they got pneumonia. You see what I mean? Republicans don't really care about taking care of Americans. Not really. They'll do it to pander to people like you, and I'm sorry that you have fallen for it, but it's important to do some reading before you come out here and espouse opinions that are very easily checked. All right? Because you know why? We deal in facts on this side of TikTok.